everybody, it's Old School Hard back with another cultural conversation for you guys. So first things first, if you are not a subscriber to the channel, please hit the subscription button down below. We have great cultural conversations over here. I always do things that make you think, that make you sit around the dinner table and have a great discussion, even if that means that some people may disagree. So welcome to the channel and thank you for tuning in. As promised, I said that I was going to do videos on Wednesdays and Sundays. So from here on out, please expect a video from me on Wednesdays and Sundays. So today, guys, I wanted to continue a conversation that I started when we reviewed When They See Us. At the end of When They See Us, I talked to you guys about two cases that were very, very similar to the Central Park Five. And I just wanted to update you on one of them being Curtis Flowers. Curtis Flowers is the guy from Mississippi, and I might have said he's from Alabama, so on the last one I do apologize, but he is from Mississippi. He is on his sixth trial. His case has went up to the Supreme Court. He is convicted for the 1996 case of killing four people at a furniture store. So I'm going to give you a little backstory and then I'm going to get into why I'm pissed off. So Curtis Flowers was newly working at a furniture store out in Mississippi. I guess he was there to like move furniture, to help and assist in moving furniture. He had not been at that job very, very long. Now, someone came into this furniture store one day, killed a young man that was working there. I believe he was like 17 or 18. He was supposed to be a really, really good baseball player or football player. I'm not too sure. I believe they killed the owner and another person and one more person that worked there, if I'm correct. So 4 people died that day. The reason why Curtis Flowers was convicted of this killing is because apparently Curtis Flowers, during his first week or two working there, he dropped some batteries, and I guess the batteries were really, really expensive. They told Curtis, hey, you know, you're gonna have to pay for it. And so according to the state, Curtis Flowers was convicted because he was going to be fired or going to be replaced. Now, there's no evidence to link Flowers to this case at all. The only thing that they found was that whoever killed these people were linked to have Fila shoes. And in 96, Filas were super, super popular. They're like the Jordans now. You know what I'm saying? They were like super popular, especially in the southern states, because you know, Filas were a little bit more affordable, but they were super, super popular. And in Flowers' home that he shared with a couple of people, there were some Fila shoes there. So that is the only link to the case. Flowers was not there. There have been people who have testified that said Flowers was nowhere near this furniture store. The only thing that people have come up with and the state has come up with is that Flowers was super, super heated, that this was yet another job that he would be losing, and was upset that he would have to pay for these batteries out of his check. Now, I heard about this story from from listening to In the Dark. If you're not a fan of podcasts, I implore you, turn off the TV sometimes, or when you're at work, just plug into like iTunes, plug into the podcast. If you're on your Android device, find a good podcast app and download In the Dark. I found In the Dark actually because I listened to another program that I found from listening to Serial, the Adnan Syed case. That was one of the biggest podcasts 4 or 5 years ago. Serial then went on to branch off into another podcast, which I cannot think of right now, but it was that podcast that I listened to that brought me to In the Dark. So I can't think of the podcast right now, so I'll probably write it in below the link. But the podcast I was listening to before did a really good 10 episodes of the Philando Castile case and the Freddie Gray case. And they're doing a whole nother case on the young man that I spoke about, the other young man that I spoke about on the When They See Us video. The young man out in Baltimore that is being convicted of armed robbery, shooting at police, endangering lives, and some other stuff. So he has a life sentence that he's up against as well. But those podcasts, if you're really into social justice, if you really want to hear about some of cases that are really, really similar to When They See Us, I implore you to check out In the Dark. And the other podcast that I cannot think of right now is driving me crazy. But I really wanted to come to you guys and talk to you guys today about Uncle Tom, Uncle Clarence Thomas, Uncle Tom, bitch ass, Oreo cookie. When I tell y'all, I'm so pissed at this nigga, like, y'all don't understand. So, Curtis Flowers' case has reached the Supreme Court because what they found is the state prosecutor in Mississippi is Doug Evans. Doug Evans is known for kicking out black jurors. If he can find a way to get a black juror off of his case, he will. 9 times out of 10, he wants to go with an all-white jury. He usually gets his all-white jury, or he tries to scheme a way into removing the black people off his jury. So all 5 trials that Curtis Flowers has had, Doug Evans has swindled his way into making sure that he has an all-white jury, and a lot of it, 10 out of the 11 may be men. So what they found was, In the Dark, when they did their podcast, what they found was that every time there was a jury involved, Doug Evans would 4.4% higher than anybody else would remove a black juror. So that means that a lot of times, if it had to do with a black person, that person would be automatically convicted. Since Flowers doesn't have any evidence against him, it was really important for Doug to make sure that that he had no black jurors. And I mean, they almost made it through one case where it seems as if the black juror was going to be able to just like flow through. He made up a lie on that person, said that he, had a divorce or some stupid thing that they found out was a lie and was not true. And that person was kicked off of the case. And so that is why Curtis Flowers has went up to the Supreme Court. So let me tell y'all what Uncle Tom, Clarence Thomas, has done. I was reading an article today that said that Clarence Thomas rarely asked any questions as they began to look at all the evidence and look at what Doug Evans has done to prove that there's racial discrimination and racial profiling in jury selection. Thomas doesn't ask any questions or anything. Actually, he was known to have told the other Supreme Court justices that he hates it when they ask questions over and over and over and over again. So the majority of them knew it just was flat out that they were going to have to look at this case. They were not going to overturn it. They were going to have to look at it. You got the only nigga that I know by now is aware of our social justice issues. I don't give a fuck if he is conservative or not. He's aware of our social justice issues. Only 2 people had a hard time and denied this case. One of them was Clarence. Jefferson. Y'all say his last name right? Oh well, I don't give a fuck. Like, just first of all, the man don't ever ask any questions. He had a number of questions that he asked about this case. He was really not for this case getting another try. And he was really, really hard on Curtis Flowers' defense on this. And he decided that Curtis Flowers is not owed the privilege. But thank God that there is a sensibility in the Supreme Court justices, and only 2 of them denied and everybody else was cool. But it just doesn't make any sense. Oh, his name Clarence Thomas. I'm so sorry, y'all. It doesn't make any sense that our own would stop this. Knowing everything that's happened, knowing that when they see us, it's just come out. He don't give a shit. He don't give a... Like, it just really pisses me off. And it's just like, bruh, at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck if you're a conservative, a Democrat, whatever you are. Right is right and wrong is wrong. If you see clear evidence that Doug Evans selects only a white jury as clear as day, there is no more motherfucking questions you gotta ask. You're doing that on fucking purpose. But you know what? You know, I say this, and I try to remain positive with black people. And, you know, I try to make sure that I get that out to the world. Anytime I hear something bad about our people, you know, I make sure I have something positive to say. But it's people like Clarence Thomas and people that are like him, that's a part of our culture, that just make it really, really hard for us to unite. Because they are so fucking stuck and dismissive, and because they got a sprinkle of success, they know more, you know. And how could anybody be discriminated against because they weren't? Like, it's just Clarence Thomas is a fucking nut and fucking crazy, you know. Because of him, affirmative action is most definitely gone. Because of him, a lot of things a lot of black men's case has been overturned in the Supreme Justice court, you know, and they won't ever, and they're done. Once you get there, you're done. And that's the sad part. So Clarence Thomas, you know, it's funny how you ain't said nothing in years. You ain't asked no fucking question in years. You're irritated by other people who ask questions. But the minute that a black man gets up there and is asking for justice, you as another black man have the nerve to stop it. It's just, it's ridiculous. I wonder how much they paying you and how good you fucking. How good you bend over for them. Because I feel like that's what you do. I feel like you bend over to be fucked every day. And it's sad. It's fucking sad. And so, guys, I hope you take some time to listen to In the Dark. It's a really good podcast. It's really good. Go to season 1, season 2. I'll try to post the link down below for you guys. And also the Philando Castile podcast that I listened to was really, really hard to listen to, but listen if you can. Philando Castile, as well as the one that they're doing on the young man in Baltimore that will resume in July. And I can't think of his name right now. It's driving me crazy that I can't think of these people's names. But I'll try to post it below, guys. So I hope you're having a really good Sunday. Guys, keep being united in spite of assholes like Clarence Thomas. It's a goddamn shame that you have to excommunicate some people out of the family, out of the cookout, out of all this other stuff. So I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I will see you again on Wednesday. Please share this video, like this video, and just know wherever there's a topic, there's a reason to have a cultural conversation. You guys have a good day. Bye-bye.